Joining a reality dating show. The producers made me call my ex. I called the one with the legendary temper. The A-list superstar who has 0 negative reviews online. The call connected. I said calmly, "Hello? Are you dead yet?" The studio went dead silent. The director's expression cracked, and 3 seconds later, a low chuckle came from the other end. Zhang Feng. Missing me? My name is Zhang Feng. I'm a 26-year-old freelance photographer. To be precise, a struggling photographer. Or, more accurately, an unemployed photographer who's nearly starving to death. So, when the producers of Signal of Hearts offered me a $30,000 appearance fee per episode, I signed the contract without even reading it. It's just a reality show, right? Just sitting around, chatting, eating, faking a little chemistry. Easy. I even prepped 3 suits. They belong to my roommate. You'd better be damn careful. I haven't even had the chance to wear this Armani myself. When my roommate handed the clothes to me, he looked like a father giving his daughter away at her wedding. Relax. It's not like I'm going to go work construction. Going on a dating show is more dangerous than construction. My roommate looked me up and down. With that mouth of yours, you'll be canceled by the entire internet after the first episode. I didn't take him seriously. On the first day of filming, when I arrived, I realized the cast for this show was completely absurd. 8 guests total. 4 men and 4 women. Among the men, there's a guy named Lucas Chen, a massive celebrity. 30 million followers. The kind of guy who makes girls scream just by smiling. As soon as he walked in, the other 3 female guests were visibly smitten, while I stayed in the corner, silently eating the sandwich the production crew had provided. Since I'm already here, I might as well make the meal cost worth it. The first segment was an icebreaker game. The director held up a card, grinning like a fox. Next, I'd like each guest to call their ex-partner. Put it on speakerphone so everyone can hear your story. The atmosphere in the room shifted instantly. Some people offered awkward laughs. Others looked troubled. Lucas Chen, however, remained quite composed, sipping his red wine, looking like the epitome of someone whose past relationships all ended on perfectly good terms. When it was my turn, the director looked at me. "Zhang Feng, your ex was a woman with a terrible temper, right?" I said. "Oh yeah, how bad?" The director got interested. "Last time I forgot her birthday." She threw my camera off the 5th floor. The whole room laughed. The director urged, "Well, call her then. Let us see what she's like." I pulled out my phone, scrolled to a contact saved as The Ancestor, and hesitated for a 1/10 of a second. We hadn't spoken in 2 years. No idea if she'd even changed her number. Whatever. I was already committed. The call went through. It rang 4 times before she picked up. I spoke. My tone as flat as if I were asking about the weather. "Hello, are you dead yet?" The air in the room curdled. I could feel the people around me stop breathing. The director's smile froze on his face. Like he'd been hit with a pause button. Lucas Chen's hand, holding his wine, faltered. The female guest across from me sat with her mouth agape, not even noticing when her sandwich dropped onto her dress. Dead silent. Absolutely dead silent. 3 seconds. 5 seconds. 7 seconds. Just as the director was about to signal the staff to cut the call, a faint chuckle came from the other side. The laugh was light, laced with laziness, tinged with surprise, and something else that was hard to define. Zhang Feng. The moment that voice sounded, I noticed the director's pupils dilate. The cameraman's hand shook. A female guest nearby audibly gasped. Because that voice. There's probably nobody in all of America who doesn't recognize it. Lily Shui, the A-list movie star, top singer, and national sweetheart. 80 million followers. Famous for her legendary temper. But miraculously, she has 0 bad reviews online. The last paparazzo who provoked her, they say he's now selling roasted yams for a living. And I had just asked her if she was dead. On a nationally broadcasted reality show, on speakerphone. "Missing me?" Her voice came through the phone. Hugh, smiling. I glanced at the expressions of those around me. The director's face was beyond cracked. He looked like he'd aged 10 years. Lucas Chen's red wine had spilled all over his white shirt, and he didn't even notice. The female guest next to him had her mouth open wide enough to fit an egg inside. I cleared my throat. "No, I just wanted to confirm you were still alive. With your workload, it wouldn't be surprising if you just dropped dead." "Are you worried about me?" "I'm worried about my camera. You still haven't paid me back for the damages. You're still holding on to something from 2 years ago. It was $5,600. You threw it off the 5th floor, I remember it clearly. She was silent for 2 seconds, then laughed out loud. Fine, I'll have my assistant wire it to you. Anything else? Nope. Why are you calling me anyway? The show made me. You're on a dating show? Yeah, I'm broke. Another long silence. Then, Lily's voice suddenly shifted, taking on a tone of danger I knew all too well. Which network is it? Why do you want to know? Nothing. Lily, don't you dare start anything. When have I ever started anything? That time you threw my camera off the balcony. That was on you. I hung up. The entire filming set was so quiet you could hear the buzzing of the air conditioner. The way everyone looked at me was like they were looking at a man waiting for his execution. The director was the first to speak, his voice trembling. Zhang Feng, your ex is Lily Shui? The movie star, Lily Shui? You call Lily Shui ancestor. She's got a temper. What else am I supposed to call her? The director turned to the cameraman. The cameraman shook his head frantically, implying, I'm not brave enough to film this. The director then looked at the producer. The producer was already on the phone, the voice low. Legal department? Yeah, we might need some overtime. Lucas Chen finally noticed the red wine stain on his shirt, but he couldn't even care anymore. He looked at me, his eyes as complex as a calculus problem. Zhang Feng, he started, maintaining a professional smile. You and Lily know each other? Exes. Exes? Right. Split up 2 years ago. His smile faltered for a second, then quickly returned. Small world then, to be able to bring her up on an occasion like this. I looked at him. His smile looked so fake. That night, the production team held an emergency meeting to discuss whether to air the segment. The final conclusion was, air it. Because if they didn't, it wouldn't just be a ratings hit, it would be legendary. The show aired at 8:00 p.m. By 9:00 p.m., my phone exploded. My roommate had called me 17 times and sent 43 messages. I opened the first one. Zhang Feng, are you crazy? Your ex is Lily Shui? You asked Lily Shui if she was dead. Are you still alive? Are you still alive right now? Lily Shui's fans have already swarmed us. You're #1 on the trending topics. The male guests on the dating show asked if the ex was dead. The second trending topic was Lily Shui's ex-boyfriend. The third was, who is Zhang Feng? It's over. It's over. It's totally over for you. I turned off my phone, took a shower, and went to bed. Honestly, I couldn't get any poorer anyway. When I woke up the next morning, I discovered my Instagram followers had jumped from 300 to 800,000. The comments were divided into 3 camps. The first, who is this guy? How does he deserve to have dated our Lily? The second, ha 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 ha, asking if someone is dead. I'm dying of laughter. What kind of savage talk is this? The third, girls, calm down. This guy actually looks kind of handsome. I scrolled through 2, then logged off. My phone vibrated. Lily's assistant sent a message. Mr. Zhang, Ms. Shui asked me to tell you that the camera transfer is complete. Please check your account. Also, she says there's no need to pay her back. Thanks for your concern. A notification appeared. 56,000 received. Well, she actually paid it. If I had known, I should have said 100,000. When I arrived at the filming base, the atmosphere was clearly different. Yesterday, everyone treated me like I was invisible. Today, the way everyone looked at me had changed. The guest Clara walked over with her coffee, smiling sweetly. Zhang Feng, did you sleep well last night? Pretty well. Have you seen those comments online? So many people are trashing you. I haven't looked. You have a really good attitude. She leaned in a little closer. But seriously, what exactly is the deal with you and Lily? How do you two know each other? I looked at her. She was digging for information. The cameras were rolling. College classmates. I said, that's all. Then why did you break up? She threw my camera away. Just because of that? A $56,000 camera? You try throwing one and see what happens. Clara choked on her words, offered an awkward smile, and walked away. Lucas Chen came down from upstairs, wearing a crisp, clean white shirt. His hair was meticulously styled. Boy saw me, smiled, and walked over. Zhang Feng, morning. Things were quite lively on mine last night. Lily's fans didn't give you a hard time, did they? They were okay. That's good. He patted my shoulder, with just the right amount of force. After all, that's all in the past. You came here to find a new love interest, right? His hand stayed on my shoulder. His smile was warm, and his tone was sincere, but his eyes weren't smiling. This guy was marking his territory. I took his hand off my shoulder. Your shirt collar is crooked. He looked down for a second. It wasn't crooked, but by the time he looked back up, I had already walked away. Today's segment was date selection. The 4 male guests each prepared a date plan. The female guests chose which ones they wanted to join. Lucas Chen prepared a private cinema buyout. Another male guest prepared a 3-star Michelin dinner. The third prepared a yacht excursion. When it was my turn, the director looked at my plan card, his expression slowly twisting. Zhang Feng, are you sure? Sure. What is your date plan? He took a deep breath and read it aloud. Haggling contest at the farmer's market. The room was silent for 3 seconds. Then the female guests laughed out loud. Lucas Chen's mouth twitched. Are you serious? The director asked, are you? Well, I said, the farmer's market is the best way to see someone's life skills. A woman who can bargain $10 vegetables down to 5 is a keeper. The staff was howling with laughter. Are you looking for a partner or a business associate? Is there a difference? The final results were in. Lucas Chen's private cinema. 2 female guests chose the Michelin dinner. 1 female guest chose the yacht. Nobody chose my farmer's market. Wait, 1 female guest did choose mine. It was a girl named Sarah. She had a round face and dimples when she smiled. She looked like she was very easy to get along with. After she made her choice, the other female guests all looked at her like she was crazy. She shrugged. I think it's actually kind of interesting. I've never haggled at a farmer's market before. The director whispered to the producer on the side. This footage, it's either going to blow up, or it's going to be a disaster. In the afternoon, Sarah and I went to the farmer's market. The cameras followed behind us. The old folks passing by glanced at us. That Zhang Feng guy. Sarah was a bit nervous. I really don't know how to haggle. It's okay, I'll teach you. You're really good at it? I've been poor for 26 years. It's my only survival skill. I led her to a stand selling tomatoes. The lady greeted us warmly. Handsome. Want some tomatoes? They just arrived today. Fresh. How much per pound? $5. I turned to look at Sarah. Go ahead, try it. Sarah cleared her throat, gathered her courage, and said, Ma'am, can you give us a deal? The lady smiled. Honey, it's already very cheap. Sarah turned to look at me, looking helpless. I sighed and stepped forward. Ma'am, can you do $4? We're buying quite a lot. No way, 5 is the lowest. Ma'am, look, this tomato is a bit soft. It's not very fresh. Where is it? Soft. Touch it. It's firm as a rock. What about this one? This one has cracks. That one doesn't count. Don't jump around. $4.50 and I'll take 3 pounds for $4.80. $4.50. Not a penny more or I'm leaving. You young people? Fine, fine. $4.50 it is. Sarah watched from the side, stunned. You're amazing. This isn't amazing. This is a skill born out of being poor. She laughed, her dimples showing deep. We walked around for an hour and bought a whole bag of groceries. From the initial feeling of being totally lost, she eventually reached the point where she could talk to the fishmonger herself and haggle down $2. She learned fast. After haggling, she turned to look at me, her eyes sparkling. I managed to get a discount. She had the expression of a grade schooler who just got a perfect score. Not bad, I nodded. You got talent. On the way back, she walked in front carrying the bag, her steps light and quick, the cameras filming from behind. I could feel that. This footage would turn out pretty well when edited. Suddenly, my phone rang. An unsaved number. I picked it up. Zhang Feng. It was Lily's voice. She didn't use an assistant. She had called personally. My steps faltered. Sarah looked back at me. What's wrong? It's nothing. You go ahead. I walked aside and lowered my voice. What is it? I watched that show of yours. How did you see it? It hasn't aired yet. I have channels. Are you snooping on the edited clips? Is it snooping for an investor to watch their own show? I froze. You invested in this show? Just invested last month. Last month? I hadn't even joined yet, right? Her tone was breezy. What a coincidence. I gripped the phone, a cold chill running down my back. Lily, what exactly are you trying to do? Nothing, she said. Just letting you know. Perform well. The call was disconnected. I stood at the entrance of the farmer's market. Holding those tomatoes I got for $4.50 a pound, I suddenly felt bad. This $30,000 appearance fee might not be that easy to earn. When we got back to the filming base that evening, the production team had arranged a group dinner. 8 guests sat around a table, the atmosphere seemingly harmonious. Lucas Chen sat across from me, taking the initiative to serve food to the female guest beside him. His smile was perfect. On his date today, he took 2 female guests to a private cinema. Word is he was a perfect gentleman, attentive to every little detail. When the female guests returned, their eyes were full of stars. Lucas is so thoughtful. He helped us with the popcorn the whole time. He even remembered that I said I liked suspense movies last time, and picked one out specifically. I kept my head down and shoveled my food. What does that have to do with me? I saved $3.50 today. Sarah sat next to me and whispered, "Thanks for today. I had a lot of fun." "You're welcome. Did you take the groceries?" "I did. I'm planning to make stir-fried tomato and eggs tomorrow. Remember to add sugar." "It's good? You like sweet things?" "I like things that are cheap." She laughed again. Halfway through the meal, the director suddenly walked in, his face wearing that look of excitement that meant he was about to stir up trouble. "Everyone, we're adding a temporary segment." Everyone put down their chopsticks. "We received a special suggestion from the investors," he stammered, saying it's to boost the show's effect. "Starting tomorrow, a mysterious guest flyer will join us." My chopsticks froze in midair. "A guest flyer? Who is it?" Claire asked curiously. "It's a secret for now," the director said with a meaningful smile. "But I can reveal one detail. It's a female guest, and she is extremely famous." He looked toward me when he said that. Just that one moment was all I needed to catch on. I put down my chopsticks. "It's Lily. It has to be Lily, that crazy woman." I took out my phone and messaged Lily under the table. "Are you coming?" 3 seconds later she replied, "Coming where?" "Don't play dumb. I know what you're talking about." "Lily, if you dare come, I'm quitting right now." "Quitting what show?" "Then quit. Can you afford the $300,000 breach of contract fee?" "Check the news, Lily. You've been trending for 8 years. My followers went from 200 to 200,000. Trending 1-1. Dating show guest asks if X is dead. Trending E3. Lily Schwez's ex-boyfriend. Brother, if I'm dead, give me my Armani back." I didn't message her back, because I was staring at another message. This one from the chat saved as The Ancestor. "Lily, what's the name of the show?" "Lily, what platform is it airing on?" "Lily, if you don't tell me, I'll look it up myself." "Lily, found it." "Lily, who is that guy in the white shirt next to you?" "Lily, why does he keep looking at you?" "Lily, Zhang Feng." "Lily, stop playing dead." I slammed the phone face down on the table. The next day of filming, the atmosphere was as eerie as the sea before a storm. The show's original process was the heartbeat selection, where everyone writes down the person they want to date most for a one-on-one date. But before filming started, the director pulled me into a corner. Zhang Feng, the director, rubbed his hands together, his expression caught between conflict and excitement. After that segment aired last night, our ratings exploded. We took 3 spots in the top 10 trending topics on Weibo. The related topics on TikTok have over 200 million views. What does that have to do with me? Of course it does. You're the biggest draw for this show now. Every viewer is asking, what's actually going on between you and Lily? How you broke up? And if you can get back together? I stared at him. "No. Don't be so quick to draw conclusions," the director said, forcing a smile. "What I mean is, can you mention Lily more on the show? You want me to use Lily to stir up drama?" "It's not stirring up drama. It's enriching the show's content. Do you know who Lily's manager is? Do you know Big Sister Wong? She's notorious in the industry. Last time, because of one article, she made the editor-in-chief of a publication fly 3,000 kilometers to apologize in person. Are you sure you want to go there?" The director's smile froze. He patted my shoulder. "Let's just let things happen naturally." Filming began. During the heartbeat selection segment, the 4 female guests wrote down the person they wanted to date most. When the results were announced, I nearly spat out the water in my mouth. 4 votes. I got 4 votes. A unanimous decision. The guy who was treated like an invisible person yesterday was the center of attention today. The director next to me looked like he'd just won the lottery. Lucas Chen's expression control showed its first crack. His smile was still on his face, but his eyes were not smiling at all. Zhang Feng, he walked over with his coffee, his tone intentionally casual. Impressive. Unanimous votes. I guess the title of Lily Shue's ex-boyfriends really comes in handy. Maybe. I didn't look up. I was adjusting my camera settings. But seriously, how did you and Lily meet? I've been in the industry for so many years. I've never heard of her having a boyfriend. College classmates. College? He raised an eyebrow. Isn't Lily from the Central Academy of Drama? Are you too? Yeah. Photography department. Then how come you didn't stay in the industry? With your relationship with Lily, a simple word from you could have opened any door. I don't like asking for favors. I looked up at him. The fingers holding his coffee cup tightened slightly. What are you two chatting about? Clara walked over and linked her arm with mine, smiling sweetly. Zhang Feng. Choose me for today's one-on-one date, okay? Whatever. What do you mean, whatever? Clara pinched my arm. If you spoke to me with the same bitterness as you do to Lily, I could be annoyed by you for a lifetime. I looked down at the fingers she had digging into my arm. If those fingernails pressed down any harder, I'd need a rabies shot. The date venue was a French restaurant. Clara and I sat across from each other. She talked a lot, from horoscopes to blood types, from personality tests to tarot cards. I listened while flipping through the menu. Zhang Feng, what's your zodiac sign? Capricorn. Oh my God. I knew it. Capricorn men are all super repressed. What sign is Lily? Scorpio. Scorpio and Capricorn. They're like water and fire. She threw my camera off the 5th floor. Definitely pretty fiery. Clara laughed until she was leaning back, slamming the table so hard the silverware jumped. But as she laughed, she suddenly leaned in closer and lowered her voice. Zhang Feng, seriously, do you still love Lily? My hand on the menu stopped for a second. The foie gras is good. Do you want to try it? You changing the subject again. And this black truffle pasta. It's $2.80 a plate. The production team is paying. Might as well. Clara puffed out her cheeks and glared at me. I didn't answer that question. It wasn't that I didn't want to answer. It was that I couldn't. I remember the day we broke up 2 years ago very clearly. It wasn't some cliché dramatic scene. There was no third party. There were no misunderstandings. There was no betrayal. Lily stood at the door of her new apartment, handed me my last box of stuff, and gave it to me. That day, she didn't lose her temper or throw anything. Her eyes didn't even turn red. The last thing she said was, Zhang Feng, you're too exhausted. Being with me, you're just too exhausted. I took the box and stood there for a long time, wanting to say something. My mouth opened, but nothing came out. Then, the door closed. In that box were my 3 spare lenses, 2 sweatshirts, a toothbrush, and a handwritten note from her. It only had 4 words on it. Stop staying up late. I still haven't thrown that note away. I keep it tucked in a pocket of my wallet. But these things aren't appropriate to talk about on a reality show, and saying them wouldn't do any good anyway. After the date ended and I returned to the villa, I noticed the atmosphere in the living room was off. Lucas sat on the sofa, with another female guest, Maria, across from him. The two were chatting away. But when they saw me walk in, Lucas suddenly raised his voice, saying, Honestly, I think if you come on a reality show, you should be sincere. Some people have other motives, using their ex's fame to get attention for themselves. That kind of behavior is pretty uncomfortable to watch. Maria glanced at me, looking a bit hesitant. I walked past the sofa, picked up the orange juice on the coffee table, and took a sip. Zhang Feng, what do you think? Lucas turned to look at me. Think about what? Do you think people come on this show to find true love? Or just to? Don't worry about it. He smiled very professionally, but his eyes were full of probing intent. I finished the juice and set the glass down. I'm here for the money. Lucas, Maria, and the director in the control room were speechless. If there were a live chat, it would probably be flooded by now. Well, the production crew pays me, so I showed up. I wiped my mouth. Does true love exist? Does it count as part of my overtime pay? Lucas's smile finally couldn't hold up. It was probably the first time he'd encountered someone who didn't follow the script at all. In his mind, someone hinted at for chasing clout would be in a rush to explain, deflect, and prove themselves. But I didn't. Because he was right. I really was here for the money, and I really didn't care what he thought. That kind of transparency is probably more frustrating than any argument. Lucas picked up his coffee cup and took a sip, saying nothing more. That night, the second episode aired, and the trending topics exploded again. Zhang Feng, I'm here for the monies, the most honest man on the show. The look on Lucas's face when he was speechless. Messages from Mike came in again. Bro, you've got 800,000 followers on Instagram now. A bunch of brands are asking for your business rates. Do you want to consider taking an ad? Based on your persona An anti-cliché boyfriend image would be an absolute hit. I was just about to reply when a new notification popped up on WeChat. Lily, that guy Lucas next to you, I know him. He's a famous green tea guy in the industry. Looks harmless on the surface, but plays dirty behind everyone's back. Stay away from him. I stared at the screen for 5 seconds. Zhang Feng, how do you know Lucas is sitting next to me? No reply from her. After 3 minutes. Lily, I heard. Zhang Feng, you're an A-list movie star with your schedule booked through next year, and you have time to hear about the seating arrangements on a reality show? I didn't call her out on it, but a bad feeling suddenly rose in my heart. That premonition became a reality on the 3rd day. When I got up in the morning, the production staff rushed into the villa, looking absolutely hyped. Big news, big news. The director cleared his throat, trying hard to suppress the corners of his mouth from turning up. After careful consideration, the production team has decided to add a guest flyer this week. He paused, his eyes sweeping over everyone's face, finally landing on me. That look was filled with nothing but pity. Lily. The toast in my hand dropped to the floor. Clara's scream pierced my eardrums. Maria's phone fell into her milk glass. Lucas's facial muscles twitched, though he masked it well. As for me, I took out my phone and opened WeChat. Zhang Feng, Lily. Zhang Feng, are you sick in the head? Lily, lovesick for you. I slammed the phone face down on the table. I shouldn't have come. Those $30,000 are my funeral fund. The day Lily arrived, the production team deployed 3 times as many camera crews as usual. 4 luxury vans were parked at the villa entrance. Security had blocked off the entire street. I stood behind the curtains, looking at the scene outside. Is this for a dating show or a military parade? The other guests were waiting in the living room, with varying expressions. Clara was constantly fixing her makeup. She'd applied 3 layers, wiped it off, and started over. Maria had changed outfits 4 times, finally choosing her most expensive dress. Another guest, Sarah, was nervously biting her fingernails. Lucas was calm, sitting on the sofa flipping through a magazine. But the magazine was upside down, and he didn't even notice. The door opened. When Lily walked in, all sound in the living room vanished. She was wearing a white shirt, paired with light-wash jeans, and sneakers. Nothing special. But when that face was hit by the sunlight, Clara's powder compact fell out of her hand, hit the ground, and shattered. She didn't even look down. I understood why. It wasn't because I had any lingering feelings for Lily, but because Lily, as a person, has this infuriating ability. When she stands there, you just feel like the oxygen in the room is only enough for her to breathe, and everyone else is just in the way. Back in college, she could walk down the street in her school uniform without makeup and cause a traffic accident. That's not an exaggeration. Someone really did ride their bike into a telephone pole. That person was me. Lily's gaze swept across the living room, like a queen surveying her territory. When it swept over Lucas, it paused for 0.3 seconds, the corners of her mouth curling slightly. That sort of, "Oh, you're here too?" nonchalance. Lucas finally turned his magazine the right way. Then she saw me. Her expression changed. From that, I'm the center of the world, nonchalance, to, how should I put it, like a cat seeing a fish it hadn't seen in 2 years, that it thought had already escaped. Zhang Feng, you've lost weight. She stared at me for a few seconds, then suddenly smiled, revealing a little fang. My heart skipped a beat. Aren't we 2 years past this? How does that fang still have such killing power? The director rushed in to save the situation. Teacher Lily! Welcome. May I ask if you have any special expectations for coming on our show? Lily withdrew her gaze from me and turned to the director. Her smile turned into the business-like politeness of a guest on a press tour. No expectations. I heard this show was quite interesting, so I came to experience it for myself. The director wiped his sweat frantically. So, do you have a type that makes your heart beat faster on this show? Lily tilted her head, thought about it seriously for 3 seconds. Yes. What type? The director pressed. Lily looked at me again. The kind that owes me money. The studio went dead silent. I closed my eyes. Lily came here just to collect that $56,000. Well, you really don't have to. I can pay you back in 10-year installments for $66 a month, with the 66-cent interest calculated separately. The production team arranged for Lily to stay in the largest room on the 2nd floor. That used to be Lucas's room. Lucas had been moved to a small single room next door. He maintained a polite smile the entire time, but when he was moving his luggage, the wheels of his suitcase dragged 3 deep scratches across the floor. The afternoon was free time. I hid on the rooftop, wanting a moment of peace and quiet alone. I didn't even get 3 minutes of peace. The rooftop door opened, and Lily walked over holding 2 cups of coffee, sitting down next to me. She pushed one toward me. "It's okay. No sugar," she said. "You still like it this way, right?" I looked at the coffee. "Why did you come on this dating show?" "Recording a show. Your schedule is booked until next March. I just wrapped a movie last week. And you have a global fan tour next month. You're running around on a dating show?" "Did your manager agree to this?" Big Sister Wong objected. I blocked her on WeChat. Currently, she's trying to pass messages through my assistant, saying she's going to resign. That's the 17th time. I took a deep breath. "Lily, what do you actually want?" She didn't answer. She picked up her coffee and took a sip, gazing at the distant skyline. The afternoon sunlight hit the side of her face, the shadows of her lashes falling onto her cheekbones. "It's been 2 years. Her voice was very soft. "You never even called me. Didn't you say I was too exhausted to be with you? So, you really just walked away. You're the one who told me to go. If I told you to go, you'd go? If I told you to go die, would you do that too?" I didn't answer. She turned to look at me, something flickering in her eyes. "Jean Feng, do you know? What makes people the most angry about you?" "What? You never hold on. Never. You carry everything on your own, never saying a single word about needing me. It's like, to you, it's all the same whether I'm there or not. You make me feel like in your life, I'm completely dispensable." My fingers tightened around the coffee cup. I was, at that time, what? My mouth opened. I was silent for 5 seconds. At that time, the Americano I bought tasted better than this one. Lily stared at me for 3 seconds. 5 seconds, then she punched my shoulder. "Zhang Feng, can you finish your sentences for once?" Ouch. I wasn't even using any force. "Then try using some force." The rooftop door was pushed open again. Lucas stood at the entrance. His smile, perfect. "Sorry to bother you. I came up to the roof for some air." "I didn't know you were here." I noticed. His eyes lingered for a second on Lily's slightly red-rimmed eyes, then moved to me, his smile deepening. "Zhang Feng, you're really lucky. Having teacher Lily bring you coffee personally." I picked up the coffee and took a sip. "Though, there's something I don't know if I should say or not." Lily turned around and looked at him. That look, which had been a girl with red-rimmed eyes, instantly switched back to being the A-list movie star. "If you don't know if you should say it, then don't," she said. Lucas's smile twitched for a second. 1 second was enough. You could visibly see the muscles in the back of his neck tighten. His smile went from natural to stiff, and then from stiff back to natural. The whole process took no more than 2 seconds. He changed the subject. "Then I'll head down first. You two chat." After he closed the door, Lily turned back to look at me. Her expression had changed again. "See?" I said. "He's a green tea. This guy just happened to pass by the roof for air?" The monitoring room is on the 1st floor. He definitely saw me come up and followed me. "Why do you care about him?" "I don't care about him. I care about you. Don't get too close to him." "I'm not close to him. I'm not close to anyone." "What about me?" I looked down at my coffee. "You're holding your coffee cup backward," Lily said. "You're drinking from the bottom of the cup." I turned the cup around. "It's over. Those 2 years apart were for nothing." That night, the news of Lily's surprise appearance on the show literally crashed the Weibo servers. Lily Shui participates in Heartbeat Signal. Lily Shui and her ex-boyfriend on the same show. Lily Shui, the kind that owes me monies. Zhang Feng drinking from the bottom of his coffee cup. "Mike, bro, you have 3 million followers now. I'll help you with your business rates. I've already drafted a version." Take a look at the attached picture. I opened it. He was quoting me at 500,000 per advertisement. "Zhang Feng, are you crazy? Who spends 500,000 on an expired photographer?" "Mike, you're not an expired photographer anymore. You're Lily Shui's ex-boyfriend. You're the national audience's dating target. Your market value is different now, get it?" "Mike, also, that line about being poor went trending. A few ramen brands are asking if they can have you as their spokesperson." "Zhang Feng, forget it." "Mike, and a camera brand. They want to film an ad. The concept is, throw it off the 5th floor and it still won't break." I turned off my phone. The show entered its 4th day. After Lily arrived, the entire ecology of the dating show underwent a fundamental change. The previous focus was on who was catching feelings for whom. Now the focus is on whether Lily looked at Zhang Feng with a temper today. The show's live chat became a scientific research institute. People specifically tracked the length of Lily's gaze, down to the millisecond. And I have become the most conflicted existence on the internet. Half the netizens say I'm the best ex. After breaking up, no entanglement, no clout chasing, living with such clarity. The other half of the netizens are in the comments section every day, demanding, get together, get together, get together. I don't want to be either side. I just want to finish recording the show quietly, take the money, and leave. But Lucas doesn't want to let me have any peace. The morning group activity was making breakfast. The 8 people were split into 2 teams to compete. Lily was, without a doubt, on my team. I was frying eggs. She rolled up her sleeves and headed for the stove. You're responsible for cutting vegetables. You can fry eggs, cut your vegetables. While I was looking down, cutting the cucumber, I heard a sizzle from next to me, followed by Lily's scream. It splashed onto the back of her hand. I reflexively grabbed her hand, turned on the cold water, and ran it over it. She hissed, frowning as she looked at the red dot on the back of her hand. Are we still doing this, or not? I asked while running the water. Just doing one? It's just a little splash. You can take a punch, but you can't take a burn. Who are you calling punch resistant? I didn't say anything. Just kept running water over her hand for another 30 seconds. I only let go once I confirmed she was okay. When I looked up, I realized everyone was watching us. Clara's eyes were shining like 2 spotlights. In the control room, the director had probably already died of excitement right there. The cameraman's lens zoomed in on our hands, a distance of no more than 20 centimeters. And Lucas, standing behind the counter across from us, had his hand, which was beating eggs, freeze. Half the egg mixture went into the bowl, and the other half dripped onto the countertop. He looked down at the egg mess on the counter, sighed slightly, and forced his smile back on. Zhang Feng, you're still really caring toward your ex. If you get burned, running cold water is, well, it's normal. But your reaction speed, he laughed a little, his tone heavy with implication. It doesn't seem like the speed one would have for an ex. That was a skillful remark. On the surface, he was complimenting my reflexes, but in reality, he was implying I wasn't over her yet. Within the logic of a dating show, someone who isn't over their ex is essentially failing the show's premise. The time before, when he tried to say I was clout chasing, it hadn't worked, so he'd tried a different angle. Lily spoke up. Lucas, the egg is dripping onto the counter. Lucas looked down, and his smile finally cracked. He hurriedly grabbed a rag to wipe the counter, his movements composed but rapid, the speed of someone trying to stay elegant in front of the camera, while swearing inside his head. After lunch, the production team arranged a round of Truth or Dare. This was the most classic battlefield in any dating show. The spinner first pointed at Lily. She chose truth. Clara asked, Lily, did you come on this show because of Zhang Feng? The whole room held its breath. Everyone wanted to ask this question, but no one had dared to open their mouth. Clara was the boldest. Or perhaps she just wanted to know the answer the most. Lily picked up the lemonade in front of her and took a sip, then set the cup down and pursed her lips. That's how much of a percentage is that? Your question quota is up. You can only ask one. Clara pouted. The second time the spinner spun, it pointed at Lucas. He also chose truth. I asked him one question. Lucas, have you ever offended anyone in the industry? He froze for a moment, then laughed. What does that have to do with a dating show? It's a truth, right? You said we could ask anything. His smile flickered ever so slightly. No. Everyone has friction while they're growing in their career. But I try my best to remain on good terms with everyone. What about Ethan Chen? I asked. Lucas's smile vanished. He looked like someone had just hit his off switch. Ethan Chen, an actor who debuted at the same time as Lucas 3 years ago. When they were on the talent show, they were close, known as the Ultimate Brothers. Later, Ethan Chen was inexplicably trashed by the whole internet and quit the industry. The official reason was personal reasons, but there were rumors in the industry that the dirt was leaked by Lucas's team. How did I know? Mike told me. Although Mike is just a small-time manager, he's as well-informed as a walking social media feed. Plus, Ethan Chen was one of the photography models I knew in college. I'd photographed him for my graduation project. After he quit the industry, he came to find me once, drank all night, and didn't say anything, but when he left the next day, he said one thing: Zhang Feng, stay away from Lucas. The most dangerous people are the ones who smile the most. Lucas's silence lasted about 4 seconds. That's too long for a variety show. 4 seconds of silence is enough for the audience to make 100 memes. Ethan Chen was my friend. His voice returned to a steady tone. I'm sorry he quit the industry, but that was his personal choice. It has nothing to do with me. I nodded. You say it has nothing to do with you, then it has nothing to do with you. My tone was very flat, but everyone present could hear the weight behind that sentence. You say it has nothing to do with you, but whether everyone believes it is another matter. Lily, sitting next to me drinking lemonade, curved the corner of her mouth slightly. The spinner turned a third time and pointed at me. I chose dare. Lucas asked, for your dare. Send a message to Lily right now. Let us see the chat history between you and her on your phone. This was a trap. If the chat history was too intimate, they'd say you were just putting on a show, coming on a dating show just to stir up drama. If the chat history was too cold, they'd say it's been 2 years since you broke up. What's the point of meeting on a dating show? Either way, they could make a story out of it. I took out my phone and opened WeChat, scrolled to the chat with Lily, and turned the screen around to show everyone. The whole screen was just Lily's one-sided output. My replies totaled less than 10 in all, with each one averaging under 3 words. The most recent one was from Lily, you're playing dead again. Zhang Feng, no reply. The whole room burst into laughter. Clara was laughing so hard she had tears in her eyes. Even Maria, who had been holding it together, was covering her mouth. Lily's expression changed. It was anger, that suffocating feeling of being exposed in front of everyone. She turned her head to look at me, her eyes capable of killing. Zhang Feng, you're done for. Is that a dare? You said so. Lucas was also laughing, but it didn't look very natural. This result was clearly not within his expectations. He thought he would see intimate interactions between Lily and me, to use as fodder. Instead, what he saw was a one-sided chat history that showed she was the one doing all the crushing. This, instead, made the audience think that Lily really cared about this man, cared enough to shamelessly chase after him with messages. And as for Zhang Feng, either he was truly over it, or he was desperately holding on. Either way, the viewers loved it. That night, the show aired, and the top 10 trending topics were completely taken over. Zhang Feng chat history, Lily's one-sided output. Lucas gets a counterattack. Zhang Feng asks about Ethan Chen. Under the last topic, Ethan Chen's fans from 3 years ago emerged. The comment section was all, finally someone dared to bring it up. Lucas, give Ethan an explanation. Zhang Feng, nice work. Mike's message, followers hit 6 million. I've already set up your fan tag on Weibo called Lost for Words. That clip of you answering the truth question is blowing up on short video platforms. There's a screenwriter looking for you. They want to write a script based on your like story. I didn't reply to him, because Lily's message came in first. Lily, Zhang Feng, you did that on purpose today. Lily, everyone saw the chat history. Lily, you made me look like a clown. My finger hovered over the keyboard for a long time. Zhang Feng, you should look at the chat history and see who looks like a clown. An A-list movie star sends over 100 messages to a poor photographer. The other person replied less than 10 times. Who do you think the audience thinks is being embarrassing? Lily, question mark. Zhang Feng, you not being embarrassing. They will only think you're being authentic. The other side was silent for a long time. Lily, was that intentional? Zhang Feng, Lily, you were calculating me. Zhang Feng, on the trending search, the fans are all saying you're cute. Another 3 minutes of silence. Lily, Zhang Feng, Lily, I hate you. Zhang Feng, Lily, I miss you too. I stared at the last 3 words for 15 seconds, then shoved my phone under my pillow, rolled over, and closed my eyes. I couldn't sleep. The 5th day, things started to head in a strange direction. During a break in recording that morning, a staff member secretly handed me an envelope. It had no signature. Inside was just a printed screenshot. It was a chat history between Lucas and some WeChat account. The gist of the content was Lucas asking the other person to help find dirt on Zhang Feng. Anything will do. Preferably the real reason for his breakup with Lily. The more explosive, the better. The other person replied, I checked. This guy is as clean as a blank sheet of paper. The only thing Is the camera Lily threw away 2 years ago? He didn't even report it to the police. Lucas's reply was, then fabricate it. I folded the screenshot into fourths and tucked it into my shirt pocket. Fabricate? Sure, go ahead and fabricate. I'll wait. At noon, the production team arranged an off-site shoot at a field of flowers in the suburbs. The 8 of us were split into 2 cars. Lily got into my car. There were only me, Lily, and a cameraman in the car. The cameraman sat in the passenger seat, with his lens pointed at the back seat. Lily sat next to me, looking out the window. She was silent for 10 minutes. Didn't sleep well last night? She didn't turn her head. Her voice was very soft. My dark circles probably gave me away. It's all right. Just didn't sleep well. John Fung, a guy like you. When you say it's all right, it means it's really bad. When you say it'll do, it means you're about to die. I was with you for 2 years. I broke your code a long time ago. I didn't answer. Are you thinking about what I said last night? She finally turned her head to look at me. Which one? You're acting. I looked at her. She was wearing light makeup today, but there were dark circles under her eyes that the concealer couldn't hide. She hadn't slept well either. Literally, I said, you didn't come to this show just for me, and not just to record the show either. You have some other purpose, don't you? Her eyes widened slightly for a second. What do you mean? Lucas, you called him a green tease before, and told me to stay away from him. Is there something between you two? She withdrew her gaze, and looked back out the window. She was silent for even longer. 3 years ago, she began, her voice becoming flat and devoid of emotion. Before Ethan Chen quit the industry, he came to find me. He wanted me to help him speak the truth. He had gotten hold of some evidence that Lucas's team had hired a smear campaign to spread dirt, but it wasn't a smoking gun. He needed someone with enough weight to help him speak up. And then I didn't help him. I looked at her profile. At the time, my own reputation was under fire. I had just won Best Actress, and the whole internet was saying I didn't have the talent, that I was only propped up by investors. My manager said I couldn't get involved in muddy waters. I listened to her. Her voice was so calm, it didn't sound like she was talking about herself. Half a month later, Ethan Chen quit the industry. He posted on Weibo, saying thank you to everyone who has helped me and those who haven't. When I saw that post, I was filming a crying scene. The director said that crying scene was the peak of my acting career. She paused. They didn't know I wasn't acting in that scene. The car remained quiet for a long time. The cameraman took a secret glance. The recording light was on. So, you came to this dating show, I said slowly, to use this opportunity to pay off a debt from 3 years ago? Not entirely, but it's not entirely untrue. She pulled at the corner of her mouth. The debt that I, Lily, owe, I'll pay back myself. With what? Can't you tell what he's doing right now? I thought for a moment. He's looking for dirt on me. If he can't find any, he'll fabricate it. Lily turned her head sharply. There were knives in her eyes. How did you know? I pulled the paper from my shirt pocket, folded into fourths, and handed it to her. She unfolded it and looked for 3 seconds. Her face sank. Then the paper was crumpled into a ball in her hand, turning white. This kind of person. Her voice dropped, as if suppressing something. It's been 3 years, and it's the same old tactics. He used the same set on Ethan Chen back then. First, dig for dirt. If you can't find it, fabricate it. Once it's fabricated, buy a smear campaign to spread it. Overnight, spread it all over the internet. By the time the person involved reacts, explanations are useless. The public already has their first impression. So what is your plan? Wait for him to make a move, and then counterattack. Counterattack with what? The evidence from 3 years ago wasn't a smoking gun. Just because it wasn't 3 years ago doesn't mean it isn't 3 years later. She looked at me. After Ethan Chen quit the industry, he has been quietly collecting evidence. He found a former employee of Lucas's team. That person has the complete bank transfer records for hiring the smear campaign, but he needs a catalyst. An opportunity to make Lucas take the bait himself. I leaned back in my seat, looking at the floor of the car. So, the dating show is that opportunity. You came here because you knew Lucas was here too. You want to force him to show his true colors. In front of the national audience. Lily didn't speak, but her silence was the answer. Then what about me? I asked. What role do I play in your plan? Your ex-boyfriend, your shield, or the bait to make Lucas show his hand? Her expression cracked for a moment, very briefly, but I saw it. You aren't the bait, but you knew he would target me. I went silent. You knew before you came that he would aim his spear at me, because I'm your ex-boyfriend. I'm the target easiest for him to exploit. So when you told me on WeChat to stay away from him, it wasn't to protect me. It was because you were afraid that before your plan could launch, I would get taken out first. Lily's lips trembled slightly. Zhang Feng, am I right? The car stopped. We had reached the flower field. Lily didn't answer my question, pushed open the car door, and got out. She walked 2 steps, then stopped without looking back. You're 80% right. And the other 20%? The other 20% is that I genuinely wanted to see you. She walked away without looking back. Her ponytail swung in the wind. I sat in the car, watching her back. This woman, 2 years later, is still so seamless when it comes to plotting against people. Yet, that last truthful sentence, tucked into the cracks of her lies, makes it impossible to be angry. I sighed and pushed open the car door. The task for the flower field shoot was to take a photo of the person who makes your heart beat the fastest. The other guests were all busy, scrambling to take photos of each other with their phones. I carried my camera, the one I'm using for the show, not the one that was thrown down the stairs. That was a new one I bought later after scrimping and saving. I looked for an angle by the flower field. Lily was standing in a patch of golden flowers, with her back to me, looking up at the clouds in the sky. I raised my camera. In the viewfinder, her white shirt was filled with wind. Her hair was flying, and the sunlight cast a halo around her. The moment I pressed the shutter, I remembered something from college. Sophomore year, in the school's small garden. Lily had skipped her major course to come find me. She was wearing a costume she hadn't taken off yet, scuffing her thin boots on the grass. Ran and tripped over her hem, landing face first in the dirt. When I pressed the shutter, she was lying on the grass, cursing someone out. That photo later became the one with the most likes. In my graduation project, the professor commented that the subject of this photo wasn't the person, but a kind of vibrant, raw vitality. Lily, at the time, was so angry she translated the professor's words back to me. Do you mean to say I tripped with a lot of vitality? I laughed. The Lily in front of me turned around, saw me holding the camera, and froze for a moment. Then she smiled. It wasn't her professional business smile, nor was it her A-list actress smile. It was a smile where she was laughing a little too hard, revealing one little fang, her eyes curving into crescents. The shutter clicked again. Stealth photographer? She walked over, wanting to see the screen. Your face is a public resource. It doesn't count as stealth photography. Zhang Feng, don't move. Take another one. She punched my arm while I was holding the camera. The photo was blurry. Compensate me. Compensate you for what? You compensate me for that 56,000 first. You're still bringing that up? Lucas walked over from the other side of the flower field, watching us bicker. His smile was standard, his gait composed. Zhang Feng, you're very professional at photography. He walked closer, his tone friendly. Can you take one for me too? You can use this angle, if the background is that purple patch. He stood in position, striking a magazine cover-style leaning pose, chin slightly tilted, gaze sophisticated. The moment I raised the camera and pressed the shutter, a bee flew onto the tip of his nose. Lucas's eyes suddenly widened, his mouth opened, and his hand swatted rapidly at the air in front of his face. Snap, 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 snap. The shutter clicked 4 times in a row. A perfect burst shot. Every single one was meme-level material. Got it. I put the camera away. I'll send them to you later. Lucas rubbed his nose, which he'd swatted red, and couldn't hold his smile together. Can we choose which ones to use? Don't worry. Each one is different. They all have their own unique charms. Lily, standing nearby, laughed so hard she crouched down, her shoulders shaking. Back at the villa, there was a secret voting segment that evening. Everyone, anonymously, wrote down the guest they least wanted to keep spending time with. When the results came out, Lucas had received 3 votes. I had 0. Lucas looked at the results, his smile remaining, but his fingers tapped 3 times against the seam of his pants. The rhythm of someone who wants to strangle someone, but has to hold it in. That night, back in my room, I turned on my phone. Lily, Zhang Feng, which photo? Lily, you know which one. Zhang Feng, the one with the bee. Honestly, even I'm pretty satisfied with it. Lily, Zhang Feng, Meng? Lily, what about mine? Zhang Feng, what's wrong with it? Lily, send me the original. I sent her the original file. Resolution 6000 by 4000, taking up 23.7 megabytes of space. After 5 minutes, she replied, Lily, you're still the one who takes the best photos of me. Zhang Feng, because the foundation is good. Lily, you're complimenting me? Zhang Feng, I'm complimenting the camera. Lily, Zhang Feng, I'm speechless. I set my phone down, turned off the lights. In the dark, there was a small patch of light on the ceiling, from a street lamp shining through a crack in the curtains. I stared at that spot for a long time. The day we broke up 2 years ago, I actually had things I wanted to say. A lot of things. For example, you said I was too exhausted, but I didn't feel exhausted at all. For example, you felt dispensable in my life, but you didn't know what my life became after you left. For example, that note in the pocket of my wallet, I touch it every day. It's not that I intentionally pull it out to look at it. It's that every time I pay for something, my fingers unconsciously touch that spot. But these things weren't said back then, and they weren't said now. It's not that I didn't want to say them. It's just that I have this flaw. The more important something is, the less I can say it. Lily was right. I never hold on. But what she doesn't know is that it's not that I don't want to hold on. I'm just afraid that once I start, I'll never be able to let go. And at the time, I couldn't give her the life she wanted. A poor photographer who couldn't even support himself. How could he hold on to someone so radiant? But that was 2 years ago. 2 years ago, I felt letting go was the right thing to do. Now, I don't know. The 7th day, the bomb finally dropped. I woke up in the morning, checked my phone, and the whole screen was the same topic. Lily's ex-boyfriend, Zhang Feng, exposed for dark secrets. I clicked on the insider leak. I could recognize this tactic with my eyes closed. The content was, Zhang Feng secretly took photos of female classmates in college and was disciplined by the school. Zhang Feng and Lily broke up because he cheated with a certain model. Zhang Feng's true purpose for joining the dating show is to use Lily's fame to get popular. He is a top-tier leech. Each point was accompanied by pictures, screenshots of chat logs, so-called witness testimony. At first glance, it looked legitimate. Looking closer, it was full of holes. The official seal on that disciplinary document was photoshopped. The color difference was visible to the naked eye. The date on the cheating chat logs was July 32, 2022. There is no 32nd in any calendar. The 2 screenshots of witness testimony, one WeChat interface used an Android system, and one used an Apple system, but the WeChat IDs were the same. The level of fraud was likely from some cheap PR team bought on a budget site. But the average netizen wouldn't look at these details carefully. They only look at the conclusions, only look at the emotions. The comment section was already tearing me apart. As expected, he's a scumbag. No wonder Lily broke up with him. So disgusting, using his ex for clout, secret photography. Why is this kind of person on TV? There were also people arguing back. Wait, the color of the seal on this disciplinary file is wrong, right? July 32nd? What parallel universe calendar is that? With this level of image editing, you're selling dirt? You're insulting my intelligence. But the dissenting voices were soon drowned out, because several influential accounts simultaneously reposted this exposé. Mike had told me their rates before, anywhere from 50,000 to 200,000 per post. I set my phone down. I didn't panic because all of this was within my expectations. Lucas made his move a day earlier than I expected. Perhaps the 4-shot B sequence was too much of a trigger for him. Lily's call came through. It didn't even ring for a second. Before I picked up, I saw it. Her voice carried a heavy, suppressed anger, like 2 tons of firewood. I'm having my manager, Sarah, issue a lawyer's letter right now. Lily, I said no. Wait, just wait. Wait for what? Your reputation is being trampled into the ground by others. How much is a reputation worth? I only just gained any kind of fame these past few days. It doesn't matter. It matters to me. Her voice suddenly changed, carrying a tremor that I rarely heard. I won't allow anyone to use me to hurt you. Secret photography, cheating, leech. Which gutter did they pull this nonsense from? All 4 years of college, every photo you took was a graded assignment. Which one of those was secret photography or cheating? The date on the chat history is July 32nd. Do they think the entire internet is illiterate? Her breathing was heavy. Zhang Feng, listen to me. There are only 2 things I regret in my life, Lily. The first was not helping Ethan Chen 3 years ago. The second was letting you go 2 years ago. I won't let the same thing happen. A third time. The phone was silent for 6 seconds. She seemed to be waiting for me to respond. Wait, I haven't figured out what to say yet. Lily, don't do anything yet. I have a plan. What plan? Do you trust me? Another pause. When have I ever not trusted you? Her voice cracked. Then wait, 3 days at most. I hung up. The atmosphere in the villa had dropped to freezing. The other guests' gazes toward me became complicated. Some were sympathetic, and some avoided me like the plague. A guest started walking over, wanting to say something, but was pulled away by their manager. Chloe kept her head down the whole time, not looking at me. Victoria secretly handed me a bottle of water, then quickly walked away. Lucas was the last one to come downstairs for breakfast. He saw me and offered a smile full of concern. Zhangfeng, I saw what happened online. Cyberbullying is truly terrifying. Are you okay? I'm fine. If you need any help, just say the word. I know quite a few friends in the industry who work in PR. No thanks, I'll pass. Thanks, I took a bite of my sandwich. Looked up at him. What about you? Did you sleep well last night? Quite well, actually. That's good. I was worried you were under too much pressure. After all, you got 3 votes in the voting. Being the person everyone least wants to hang out with is a pretty hard blow. His smile stiffened for a second. By the way, I took another bite of my sandwich. My tone as casual as if I were talking about the weather. The speed at which those marketing accounts reposted the dirt was quite uniform. They posted at almost the exact same minute, as if they had received the same assignment. Have you ever worked as a manager? You must be very familiar with this kind of operational process. The air was quiet for 3 seconds. Lucas picked up his coffee cup. What do you mean? Nothing in particular. Just observing. I'm a photographer. I'm used to observing. He took a sip of his coffee, set the cup down, and tapped his fingers on the table twice. Zhangfeng, you know. Sometimes, for people who have been wronged, the best thing to do is to clarify themselves, not to splash dirty water on others. You're right. I smiled. But a smarter move is to let the person splashing the water admit it themselves. Wouldn't you agree? Lucas stopped talking. The look in his eyes turned from concern to scrutiny, and then from scrutiny to something else. What was it? Alarm? A rabbit suddenly showing its teeth. A hunter will always feel something is wrong. The day's filming continued as normal, but everyone knew in their hearts that the undercurrents had surged to the surface. The director called me to the side. Zhangfeng, the production team's stance is, regarding that dirt online, do you have anything you need to respond to? If you want to withdraw from the filming, we can arrange that. I won't withdraw, but director, don't you want high ratings? He froze. Those smears are fake. I have evidence. But now is not the time to release it. Give me 3 days. After 3 days, the ratings for this show. I looked at him. We'll break records. The director looked into my eyes, and likely read something he was used to seeing, but hadn't seen in a non-celebrity for a long time. You're not an ordinary person, are you? He whispered. I am just Zhangfeng, a photographer, an ordinary person who came to this dating show for a $30,000 appearance fee. 3 days. After he left, I called Mike. Mike, help me contact someone. Who? A former operations lead from Lucas's team. His name is Julian. Ethan Chen has his contact information. Tell him to be ready to come out and testify. 3 days from now, you're going to take down Lucas? It's not that I'm taking him down. It's that he has taken me down more than once. Brother, Lucas has investors behind him. Are you sure you want to go up against him? He has investors behind him. I have the biggest investor behind me, Lily. I hung up the phone, turned around, and almost bumped into Lucas. He was standing in the shadows around the corridor corner. I didn't know how long he'd been standing there. What were you talking about? So mysterious, he asked with a smile, urging a friend to pay back money. How much do they owe? Not much, but enough to make someone lose everything. I walked past him. In the moment we brushed shoulders, I saw from the corner of my eye that his smile finally disappeared. For the first time since the show started, he wasn't smiling in front of me for the first time. That expression was fear. Day 8. The dirt had been fermenting online for a full day. Public opinion had reached its peak. The topic, Zhangfeng, get out of the entertainment industry, was trending. Some radical fans started spamming my Weibo. Some even went to the program's official account, demanding that Zhangfeng be eliminated. Mike sent me 30 messages in one day. The central idea was just one thing. When exactly are you going to fight back? The fans can't hold on much longer. My fans, or to be accurate, former fans, were indeed dropping at a visible rate. The Weibo follower count that had hit 6 million a few days ago had already dropped to 4 million, but there were still 4 million. Those 4 million were the real ones. Lily hadn't messaged me in these 2 days, but I knew she was enduring it. Because Sarah posted on her social media, my artist told me to hold back. She said if I don't let her send a lawyer's letter in 3 days, then she herself will become the lawyer's letter. Lucas had become unusually active these past 2 days. He suddenly became very warm on the show, helping female guests carry bags, taking the initiative to wash dishes, making coffee for everyone. He was stealing the spotlight while my reputation was collapsing. He was establishing his own persona as the warm guy of the dating show. Today's segment was the preparation before the final confession day. Everyone had to write a letter. And during tomorrow's confession segment, read it to the person who makes their heart beat the fastest. During a break in recording, Lucas took the initiative to walk over to Lily's side and handed her a hot chocolate. Lily, you haven't seemed to be in a good mood the last 2 days. Is it because of what's going on with Zhongfeng? Lily looked up at him, but didn't take the cup. What do you think? I don't think you need to let an ex affect your mood. You are, Lily, the most outstanding actress in all of China. You deserve someone better. Lily stared at him for 3 seconds. In those 3 seconds, her expression changed from coldness to a kind of scrutiny, as if she were X-raying a specimen. Lucas, she began, her tone flat, do you think you are that someone better? Lucas smiled. I wouldn't dare say that, but at least I wouldn't make you worry. Lily took the hot chocolate and set it on the table without drinking it. You wouldn't make me worry. Then when Ethan Chen was worried, what were you doing? Lucas's smile shattered. This time, it shattered completely. It wasn't a crack. The whole thing just fell apart. The warmth in his eyes looked like someone had pulled the plug. This has nothing to do with Ethan Chen. Whether it does or not isn't up to you to decide. Lily stood up, looking down at him, her voice so light. It was like she was stating an inconsequential fact. Lucas, let me tell you the truth. You act quite well. But you've forgotten one thing. What? I am an award-winning actress. That bit of acting you have wouldn't even pass an audition in front of me. She turned and walked away. Lucas sat where he was, his complexion alternating between pale and white. The hot chocolate in his hand spilled onto his fingers, but he didn't react at all. I watched the whole thing from the other end of the corridor. Lily walked up to me, without slowing her pace. As she passed me by, she whispered, "It's been 3 days." I couldn't endure it anymore. That very evening, I organized everything I had prepared. The recordings, documents, transfer records, and notarized copies of the smear campaign contracts. Julian's written testimony. He was willing to go on camera. Ethan Chen's full statement, and that screenshot from the envelope. The chat history Lucas's subordinates fabricated. When they couldn't find any real dirt, I divided these materials into 3 sets. One for Mike, so he could coordinate with the media. One for Lily's manager, Sarah. She had already pressed her stamp onto the lawyer's letter, just waiting to launch it. And one I kept for myself. Tomorrow is confession day, the final chapter of the show. I sat at my desk, with a piece of stationery spread out in front of me. The show required everyone to write a confession letter. My pen hovered over the paper, without writing a single word. My mind was filled with Lily's appearance over these past few days, her profile on the rooftop, her smile when she looked back in the flower field. That song, Summer Breeze, that we'd played for 2 years. I do want to see you. I hate you, and I miss you too. And that note from 2 years ago, stop staying up so late. I took out my wallet, opened the compartment, the note was still there. The edges of the 4 characters were already worn fuzzy. The ink was a bit faded, but still legible. I closed my eyes. 2 years, and I'd been telling myself that letting go was the right thing to do. A poor person has no right to hold on to a radiant person. But now, she had flown 3,000 kilometers to get on this dating show. She had told a national audience that I was the one she owed money to. She played the song from our college days. She had endured 3 days without acting when I was being scolded, because I said, trust me. Lily was standing right here. She had done everything she could. Then what about me? What exactly was I waiting for? I picked up the pen and wrote for a long time, writing until 3 a.m. Confession day. The villa had been decorated like a banquet hall, flowers and balloons, warm lighting. There were 8 cameras set up. The director said this was the final live broadcast of the season, and the audience would vote in real time to decide the best couple. Live, real time, Perfect. I was wearing that Armani suit from Mike's. He had specifically called to warn me not to get it dirty. If you get it dirty, you can't afford to pay for it. Don't worry, after today, I'll buy you 10 of them. You and that attitude, fine. I believe you. The guests began to enter one after another. Chloe wore a red dress. Lily wore a white gown. Victoria wore a water blue dress. Lucas wore a custom black suit, his hair meticulously styled. From the outside, you couldn't see any nervousness, but I noticed. His left index finger was trembling slightly. That hand was tucked in his pants pocket, thinking no one could see it. But I could see it. The eyes of a photographer would not miss any detail. Lily was the last to appear. She wore a champagne-colored long dress, no jewelry on her collarbones, and her hair braided simply to the side. The moment she walked out, everyone's breath grew lighter. Mine did too. The confession segment proceeded in seating order. Chloe went first. She stood in the middle of the stage, unfolded her letter, and smiled at me. Zhang Feng, although I know your heart isn't with me, but hanging out with you these few days, I think you're a very good person. The photos you take are beautiful, and you are very serious about your work. I hope you can be happy in the future, no matter with whom. She winked at me and walked off the stage. Applause. Lily read hers to Lucas. The content was gentle and appropriate. Lucas smiled and thanked her. Chloe read hers to another male guest, and ran off the stage, blushing. It was Lucas's turn. He walked to the middle of the stage, his gaze sweeping across the audience, finally landing on Lily. Willie, he cleared his throat. His smile perfect, although we haven't spent much time together. But, I stood up. Everyone's eyes immediately turned to me. Behind the broadcast monitors, the director almost threw his walkie-talkie away. Zhang Feng, it's not your turn right now. The staff member whispered. I know, but there are some things I must say now. I walked to the middle of the stage, facing all the cameras, facing the tens of millions of eyes behind the live broadcast. I pulled out my phone and connected it to the on-site projector. The first image appeared on the screen. Lucas. A screenshot of the chat history where he couldn't find dirt on me. Lucas's face, under the live broadcast camera, changed color in slow motion. White. This was sent to me anonymously 2 days ago. I spoke in a tone as flat as a weather forecast. The content is a conversation between Lucas and his team members. In this conversation, he instructs that person to fabricate the dirt on me. Secret photography, cheating, leeching. Every single one was fabricated by them. The screen switched to the second image, the bank transfer records for the smear campaign, including the amounts, account numbers, dates, and memos, all clearly visible. These transfer records span from 3 years ago to the present. The victim 3 years ago wasn't me. It was someone else. Those of you here might not know him, but his name is Ethan Chen. The comment stream exploded. Ethan Chen, I knew it. The truth about what happened 3 years ago is finally being told. The screen switched to the third image, the voice-to-text transcript of Lucas. We have to take Ethan Chen down. Otherwise, the male lead for the next project won't be me. In black and white, every word felt like a blade piercing the silent venue, where you could hear your own heartbeat. Lucas's lips were trembling. He stood on the stage, his legs feeling as if they were filled with lead. The confession letter he held in his hand was crumpled into a ball, his knuckles white. This is faked. He started, his voice hollow. The original audio file has a judicial notarization number in the bottom right corner of the screen. You're welcome to apply for a forensic verification. His gaze darted everywhere, like a trapped beast looking for an exit. He looked at the director. The director's face was livid. He looked at the cameraman. The lens was pointed steadily at him. He looked at the female guests. Not a single one would look at him. Finally, he looked at Lily. Lily was sitting in her seat, her legs crossed, her hands clasped over her knees, her expression as calm, as if she were watching a play where she already knew the ending. Lily, help me say something. Lucas's voice carried a hint of pleading. You know I'm not that kind of person. We've worked together, you understand me. Lily stood up. Her heels made a crisp sound on the floor. Lucas, she said, her voice neither too quiet nor too loud, just enough for everyone in the venue to hear. 3 years ago, Ethan Chen came to find me, asking me to help him speak the truth. I didn't help. That is my biggest regret. She paused. Today, this truth comes 3 years late, but thankfully, it didn't miss out. Lucas's legs went weak. He didn't collapse, but his knees buckled. in front of the national audience. They buckled without any disguise. Then he straightened up abruptly, as if realizing he was on live television, using his last ounce of strength to control his body. But his hands were shaking, his lips were trembling, the light in his eyes shattered. You, his voice was hoarse, you all conspired. No one conspired against you from the start. I turned off the projector and put my phone back in my pocket. You faked the evidence against me. You spread the rumors yourself. You bought the smear campaign yourself. I only helped you pull the lid off. Where did you get this evidence? From your own people. His last line of defense collapsed. His eyes widened. His pupils like someone had thrown them into ice water. Julian? See, could it be Julian? No one answered him, but his muttering was picked up by his microphone and broadcast to tens of millions of screens. The comment stream couldn't even be described as explosive anymore. It was a catastrophe. It's over. It's over. He said it himself. Who is Julian? Look him up. This is an admission, right? Lucas is finished. Ethan Chen fans, assemble. 3 years. 3 whole years. Lucas stood on the stage, like a statue that was falling apart. He opened his mouth to say something, but no sound came out. The confession letter slid from his hand, dropped to the floor, and looked deathly pale under the lights. Finally, he turned and left. He took 3 steps, stumbled, and almost fell. The camera followed his back, following him all the way until he pushed the big doors open and walked out. The door slammed shut behind him. The venue was stunned for 5 seconds. Then, Chloe started clapping. Victoria followed suit. The staff clapped. The cameraman clapped with one hand. The director's voice over the walkie-talkie was trembling. Keep the live feed going. This is the most explosive episode in variety show history. Don't stop. Keep going. Lily didn't clap. She looked at me, a light flashing in her eyes. I pulled the letter I'd written all night from my pocket. Director, it's my turn now, right? The venue went quiet. The livestream comment section instantly turned into a single, uniform message. It's here. It's here. It was here. I walked to the middle of the stage, unfolded the letter, and took a deep breath. Lily was watching me from below the stage, her expression shifting from calm to nervous. Her fingers were crossed over her knees, her fingertips turning white. Lily, her shoulders trembled slightly. The day we broke up 2 years ago, you said I was too exhausted. Said that in your life. I made you feel dispensable. You said I never held on to you. My voice was steady, but my hands were shaking. The edges of the letter were being rubbed into fuzz by my thumb. You were right. I never held on to you, not because I didn't care, but because I cared too much. I was afraid that once I spoke up, I wouldn't be able to let go. And at the time, a poor photographer couldn't give you the life you wanted. You deserved someone better, so I left. Chloe covered her mouth with her hand. Chloe was silently shedding tears. But these past 2 years, I understood one thing. I flipped the stationery to the back, where only one line was written. I turned the paper over to show her. Lily's gaze fell on that line of text. Her lips tightened. Her nostrils flared, and then the tears fell. Silently. Drop by drop, they fell onto the back of the hand resting on her knee. The paper read, "Stop staying up so late. This sentence, I'm giving it back to you. From today on, it's my turn to say it." I put the stationery down. Lily, I'm not poor anymore. At least I got $300,000 for the appearance fee, right? Enough for me to buy you a camera, even if you want to throw it off the 5th floor. Her tears and laughter exploded at the same time. She cried and laughed, her shoulders shaking violently. I walked off the stage, crouched down in front of her. Lily, don't say anything else. Her voice was garbled. Tears had ruined her makeup. Let me finish what I didn't say before. Shut up. I'm done shutting up. I've shut up enough in this life. I reached into my pocket, pulled out that note I'd carried for 2 years. The edges were worn. The ink faded, and placed it in the palm of her hand. Back in college, you played that song Summer Breeze, and you missed over a dozen notes. This time, you didn't miss a single note. You practiced for 2 years. Her fingers gripped the notes so hard, the paper. I practiced, too. I also practiced for 2 years. I practiced how to say, stay. The livestream comment section disappeared. It wasn't that no one was commenting. The server crashed again. The director was shouting into his walkie-talkie at the technical department, "Add more servers for me. Even if I have to sell my car, add more servers." Lily stood up from her chair. She was taller than me. She was half a head taller than me in her heels. She looked down at me. Tears still streaming down. but the corners of her mouth were curled upward. Then she punched me in the chest. 2 years. She choked out, word by word, Zhang Feng. 2 years? You made me wait for 2 years. I know. You don't know a damn thing. Yeah, I don't know a damn thing. She cried and laughed at the same time. Crying and laughing? She tugged on my Armani lapels. This suit isn't yours, right? It's Mike's. You don't even have a suit, yet you come to make a confession? You're broke, and you still dare to come? Because you were here. She let go of my lapels, and threw her whole body into my arms. The force was so great, it almost knocked both me and the Armani suit flat onto the floor. Chloe was screaming in the background until her voice cracked. Victoria was clapping desperately. Lily Ann was crying and laughing while recording a video. The director wasn't speaking anymore. He was wiping away tears behind the camera. Mike's messages were buzzing incessantly in my pocket. I didn't look because my hands were busy, returning the hug. Lily was holding on very tightly, as if afraid that if she let go, I would disappear. Zhang Feng. She buried her face in the crook of my neck. Her voice muffled. Yeah? My 56,000. What? You're still asking for that 56,000? I'm hugging you right now. And you're talking to me about money? 62,000. I was speechless. This woman, I really do love her after all. A week later, the situation with Lucas triggered an 8.5 magnitude earthquake on the internet. The judicially notarized voice recordings were verified by authoritative media, confirming they were Lucas himself. The bank transfers for the smear campaign were seized by the financial authorities, involving an amount exceeding $2 million. Julian went on camera for an interview, fully reconstructing how, 3 years ago, Lucas's team planned and executed the cyberbullying against Ethan Chen. Lucas's studio released a statement 3 days after the evidence was exposed, admitting to management negligence. But 6 hours later, they deleted the statement because the comments section was filled entirely with management negligence. You personally gave the instructions. You call that management negligence? His business partnerships were all terminated within a week. The drama he was currently filming, Cautionary Illusions, was halted. Endorsed brands removed all his promotional materials overnight. His Weibo followers dropped from 30 million to 8 million. And 4 million of those were new arrivals just there to curse at him. A reporter caught him squatting downstairs at his company. In the photos, Lucas was wearing a mask and a hat, hunched over, walking very fast. When the reporter called his name, his footsteps faltered, and then he walked even faster. Ethan Chen posted on Weibo, "It's been 3 years. Thank you to everyone who has helped me. This time, I really mean thank you." The photo attached was a bowl of beef noodles with triple-strength spice. The top comment was, "Ethan, come back." It received 780,000 likes. I helped him repost it. I didn't add any text. The repost was enough. As for myself, the live stream of the final chapter of the show surpassed 120 million viewers, 8 times the previous highest record since the show began. The director cried 3 times when he called me. The first time was to thank me for creating a ratings miracle. The second time was to ask if I could come back for the next season. The third time was to tell me that he had indeed sold his car to add more servers. I said, why would I? I have a girlfriend now. Coming to a dating show isn't appropriate. Also, Mike helped me land 7 advertisements, and one of them was actually a camera brand. The concept was, even if you throw it from the 5th floor, it won't break. When Lily saw this advertisement concept, she chased me up 2 flights of stairs, wanting to beat me. The trending topic, Lily chases Zhang Feng up 2 flights of stairs, received 300 million reads. The Zhang Feng and Lily fan group on Weibo surpassed 10 million followers. Every day, people there were excavating archives of our photos from college. I don't know who dug them out. The most popular one was the one where Lily was in costume, had fallen on the grass, and was cursing. The comment below read, "This is the real award-winning actress." Mike is my agent now, with a 70-30 split. He gets 70, I get 30. I said, "Are you crazy?" He said, "You're talking while wearing 10 of his Armani suits." I still haven't returned that suit to him. Because Lily confiscated it. Her excuse, "You got back together while wearing this suit. This suit belongs to me." Mike was silent for 3 minutes when he heard that, then replied with 2 words, "Accepted." Ethan Chen, under the invitation of an agency, re-debuted. In his comeback interview, a reporter asked what he had to say to Lucas. He thought about it. "Nothing to say. I don't hate him anymore. Hating someone is too tiring. It's better to use that energy to eat 2 more bowls of noodles. This quote trended with the topic, better to eat 2 bowls of noodles than hate someone. As for Lily and me, I moved into her apartment. She bought me a new camera, a 5D4, the same model as the one she threw off the balcony all those years ago. When I was unboxing it, she stood by, her expression looking a bit guilty. Is this considered compensation? Does it include interest? It includes emotional damages too. If you say another word, I'll take this one back. I'll stop. I hung the camera around my neck, aimed it at her, and she subconsciously smoothed her hair. What are you doing? Taking a picture of you. I'm not wearing makeup. You don't need it. You just woke up. My hair looks like a bird's nest. It looks good. She was stunned for a moment, the tips of her ears turning red. The shutter clicked. In the photo, Lily was wearing pajamas, her hair messy, holding a slipper in her hand, ready to throw it at me. Her mouth was open, as if she were saying, delete it for me. Her eyes were curved, carrying both morning grumpiness and a smile. I set this photo as my phone wallpaper and posted the first Weibo of my life. The picture was this photo, and the text was just one line, no more staying up late. Someone is managing me. For 3 minutes. The server crashed again when Lily saw this post. She chased me around the entire apartment with the slipper for 3 laps. She stopped to catch her breath, leaning against the doorframe, glaring at me. Zhang Feng. Everyone on the internet has seen that. That's what I look like when I just woke up. My image, my reputation. I walked over and took the slipper from her hand. Lily, why? Don't stay up late anymore. Her mouth opened. Her nose turned red, and then she punched me in the chest. The force was exactly the same as it was 2 years ago. Zhang Feng. Yeah, you're really annoying. Yeah, super annoying. Yeah, you're so annoying. For the second time, she threw herself into my arms. This time, I stood my ground. And didn't get knocked over. Sunlight poured in through the window, shining on her unruly hair. Golden fragments. My phone was buzzing incessantly on the coffee table. It was probably Mike sending more messages. I didn't look. I had all of Lily in my arms, and that was enough.